Hello, Needham, and welcome to What's My House Worth, a show that educates you about the Needham real estate scene. We are your educators. My name is Rob Tickton. This is Ryan McDonald. We're with Hawthorne Real Estate. We are a real estate brokerage company. We also do design build as well.
We do. Very good, Rob.
Or we simply design build.
Yes.
We don't do design build. Anyway,
Splitting
today's
hairs.
show is going to be a busy one. Lots of sales for the month of July. In fact, 45. Pretty healthy number, Ryan, wouldn't you say?
I sure would, Rob.
So without any further ado, let's take a look at the sales data for the month and break down the numbers a little bit. And Ryan, as you look at the data, what do you see?
As you mentioned, 45 closings of single-family homes in the month of July, according to MLS. Those homes had an average list price of $1.069 million with an average sales price of $1.056. So that's a pretty good clip. Both of those numbers are up over June's totals.
It's a good sign.
Yep. Our percentages are strong, Rob. 98.7%. That was our sale price as a percentage of list. And the even more important one, the 97.8%, that's your sale price as a percentage of original list. So that shows we've got a market. People are putting the houses on responsibly, and they're selling at or close to their asking price.
And a good number on a per square foot level as well.
Agreed. Yeah, 356. That's down a little bit from June, but I think it's a product of the higher list price, or sale price rather. But still, 356 is a pretty strong number. But the strong number, Rob, 28 days on market.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, 28 days from listing to offer, and that is pretty quick, especially when you factor in there are some houses in here that have hundreds of days on market that are skewing the average. But 28 days is, in any market, a signal of strength and demand.
Right, and even though we're in the month of August talking about July sales, this is a reflection on what happened in the spring market, which, as we know, was off the charts in terms of activity and demand. 46 homes sold in July of 2014, so pretty comparable, I would say, to a year ago. But let's take a look at the previous 6 months and see kind of where the trend is heading. And no surprise there, we know June was a historic month, and July didn't let us down on the heels of that crazy month of June.
Yeah, I think it's holding its own next to its big sibling June. So good job, July.
Yeah, good job, July. Speaking of July, how about the last 6 Julys? We're going to show them all to you in just a moment, and we'll see that 45 in the context of that particular month of July is pretty good too, Ryan, right?
Yeah, I mean, last year obviously strong. This year it's consistent. I think we can expect that trend to continue into the foreseeable Julys, hopefully. We don't have any reason to say otherwise.
No, we don't. So let's
we're not
keep it
going
going.
to. Yeah.
All right, sure. And now it's time to break it down on a sale-by-sale basis, the same way we always do on this show. Start low, work our way up in terms of sales price. And following that formula, we begin with 110 Blake Street, a little bit of a blurry listing, Ryan.
A little blurry, Rob. That's clearly, I think, from the assessor's database. And this one is pretty straightforward. I mean, the listing agent throws it right out there for you. It's a, quote, teardown.
Yes.
So there you go.
And this one located at the corner of Blake and Linden Street. Not too far away is 331 High Rock Street, which, oh, by the way, happens to be our next listing. This one sells for $608,888.
A lot of eights, Rob.
And a little bit different, this listing, very turnkey, Ryan.
Yeah,
you could basically move right into this one.
I think you could, Rob. This is a cape and move-in condition. It's on a good size lot, just under 12,000 square feet. It's on High Rock, but you're talking about getting into Needham at $608,000 and not having to do any work, which is a rarity these days.
Yeah, this same house sold in 2005 for $512,000, but like you said, they probably did a little bit of work since that time. 193 Greendale Avenue is a busier road, but this particular part of Greendale is closer to Highland, Ryan, so a little bit more quiet, I guess, right?
Yeah, a little bit less affected by the highway sound.
Yep, and this one, like High Rock, had a few updates.
It did. I think High Rock might have been a little bit more updated. But what I liked about this one is it's a colonial. You're getting in. It is still very much move-in condition, and you're getting into a colonial for $612,500.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah, that one built in 1946.
Okay.
Not too far away is 61 Hunting Road. It's a listing that the agent described as convenient, a convenient location. Ryan, would you agree it is a convenient location?
It all depends, Rob, as to what it is convenient to.
Oh, good point. So convenient to...
128?
There you go. Good commuter location, if you will.
Could be.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Any other observations on that one before we?
Another house that's in move-in condition for the most part.
It's great.
Yeah, you might want to do some updates, some cosmetics maybe, but you're paying $622,000 to basically move right in, and I think that's great.
Yeah. You definitely are going to want to do quite a few updates to our next listing.
Yep.
However, 25 Ensland Road is a fairly sought-after location.
It is. This is right on the backside of Broad Middle School.
Yep.
I think it's being positioned as a redevelopment opportunity, potentially new construction. Although the lot size would suggest that to be risky. If you're a developer looking to turn something around when you're buying it for $625 on an 8,000 square foot lot, or 7,800, I believe it is.
Right, and that's restricted because you have setbacks.
Yeah, it limits your upside a little bit, but still, it's a great neighborhood on the backside of Broad Meadow, as we mentioned. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that one.
Yeah, you got a whole baseball field as your playground basically back there. So it's a good spot.
Sure.
275 High Rock. We're going back to High Rock. You good with that?
I'm fine.
All right, let's do it. 275 High Rock Street. This is the corner actually of High Rock and Murphy.
Yeah, and this one's a 12,600 square foot lot, and I think the seller did well here, as this is potentially a land sale relative to 331 High Rock and the property on Greendale, yes, that were move-in condition sales. So you're talking about a land sale in basically the same spot with the same features that's selling for $625 over the 608 and the 612.
Yeah, that's a good sized lot there, 12,600 square feet. So that probably has a little bit to do with that.
It could.
249 Warren Street is it's a listing that I know you were a fan of this one, weren't you, Ryan?
Yeah, I liked it.
Why? Tell us.
It's quaint. It's charming. I like the woodwork. Could use some updates as far as just, modernizing it a little bit. But and then the location's great in the corner of Kimball and Warren. Walk to town, walk to train.
That's a good spot.
It is, definitely. And then this one went out at $549,900. We knew, this is going to have competition. It had multiple offers, went for $625,000. So I think the seller did well, but I think the buyer's going to be happy with the house.
I would agree. Third floor room there, no heat.
No, and very little access.
Yeah, probably not up to today's building codes.
No, but don't say anything.
No. 6 Lake Drive is a sneaky walk-to-town location. If I had a nickel for every time we refer to something as a sneaky walk-to-town location, Ryan.
Yeah,
but this would apply, wouldn't you agree?
I definitely would. I mean, the corner of Lake and May. The thing that jumped out at me, Rob, as we talked about, was the front walkway. How the walkway, they put in this nice paver walkway from the house, and it just dies into the grass before it gets to the street.
So let me get this straight, just so I understand. So there's no sidewalk there.
No sidewalk.
So you're saying you have street, and then you have, what, a couple feet? 4 or 5?
4 or 5 feet.
4 or 5 feet of grass, and then you have the walkway.
Yeah.
Huh.
Hadn't seen that before.
Well, as we know, the owner of that house does not necessarily own that little strip of land right near the...
True.
Right?
True.
So maybe?
Yeah, maybe like a little, bluestone or something, just a stepping stone to get you to bridge that distance.
Right, the town's not going to give you a hard time.
No.
Right?
Never. Maybe they'll do that. We'll have to check back next time we're driving down.
You're giving us a lot of homework. You should take a picture of it.
I did.
Oh, really?
I'll show it to you.
All right. We'll do that off camera.
Maybe that'll be our listing picture of the month next month.
Yeah. 82 Wyoming Avenue is, when I'm on Wyoming, I see a listing. They all seem to blend together because they're all very similar. They're capes on smaller lots. This one, Ryan, I remember you commenting about something walking out of here regarding the windows.
Yeah,
what was that?
I like the cottage-style windows in this house.
Ah, what's a cottage-style window?
A cottage, it has an uneven number of, or a different number rather, of grills in the top sash over the bottom sash. So in this case, there's 6 in the top and 9 in the bottom, and it's just a different look. It's cottage style. It's very cool. It's quaint.
Unique.
Yes. Not to cottages.
Correct. 97 Oak Street is our next listing. This is a ranch, which lends itself to aging in place, which we're a fan of on this show. 4 beds, 2 baths, a corner lot, Ryan, the corner of Oak and Willow.
Yep. This is a quick walk to High Rock School for all of your 6th grade schooling needs.
Yeah, and there are many.
Right.
When you're in 6th grade.
That's true.
But otherwise. Alrighty, 780 Highland Ave is our next listing. This one sells for $669,000. It was also on the market for $669,000. And Ryan, what did this listing have that I'm a huge fan of?
Oh, you're a big fan of the circular drive.
Bing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it. See, I knew it.
I know. I feel like it's almost like we've done this show before. Yeah. Anything else about this listing that jumps out?
I just noticed that the public record had 13,068 square footage for the lot size. And in the listing sheet, the verbiage mentioned a 12,900 square foot lot.
Yes.
And you don't typically seeing it going that way.
Right.
Usually it goes the other way. Usually they're saying, hey, huge lot, and it's always lower in public record. But this one, maybe they're pointing out that, we've had it surveyed, and this is what it is.
Yeah, that's funny. I noticed that as well. 76 Sutton Road is our next listing. This is considered to be, well, the listing agent considers it to be a super in-town location.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's certainly a fine location. It doesn't jump off the page as being in the heart of in-town locations.
Correct. Yeah. Sold in 03, this one did, for $555,000. So the previous owners did pretty well there. Sold it for $120,000 more than what they bought it for.
Yes, this one does have the train running through the backyard.
Right. True. But nice, a quiet neighborhood otherwise.
Except for the train.
Otherwise, right. 17 Maple Terrace is our next listing. You know what, Ryan? This one, I like the looks of this one.
Yeah, it needs a lot of work, though.
It needs a lot of work, but the location is it's a walk-to-town location.
Yeah, that's more of an in-town location, I think, than Sutton, for sure.
Agreed. And also good for your sixth grade needs due to its proximity to High Rock.
Okay.
And just, a lot of square feet to work with, 2,500 square feet of interior living space.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this house becomes.
Yeah, agreed.
And maybe who purchased it. It could certainly have been a development opportunity. So we'll see.
It's a good-looking house.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that one. I like the next one, too. What do you think about that? Back to backs. 43 Fisher Street is looked like it had a lot going for it in the sense that it was fairly updated, had a lot of square feet. You're right across the street from the Charles.
Yep.
You have nice views. You got a lot of space out there. You got an acre to stretch out, and was on the market, just long enough. I feel like for somebody to get a pretty good buy there, $749.
Yeah, it's definitely turnkey. That is sure. You're not. I mean, it's done.
Right. Yeah. You're not. You're taking the town out of the picture. Right?
Yes, yeah, it's on the outskirts.
Yep, but I thought that was a pretty good buy.
Okay.
I like that listing. 179 Paul Revere Road is next up. I saw this one. Did you see this one, Ryan?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so maybe I should talk a little bit about it.
Go for it.
I thought it was great space. You had 4 bedrooms upstairs. It was a good location. Walk right to Mitchell. And, we talked about a canvas a couple listings ago. I thought this was a great canvas. Very dated on the inside, but you had the room and the space that if you wanted to update it, you could really maximize a lot of square footage because you had 2,474 square feet, didn't include the finished basement. So I liked it. I liked it for the potential, and 780 feels about right.
I can't disagree.
No, you're in no position to disagree. 1214 Great Plain Avenue is our next listing, and I wouldn't have minded a little bit of a property description on this listing.
There was none.
No.
And all right, so now you saw Paul Revere.
I did.
So you got 179 Paul Revere.
I can't wait for this.
Yep. A Mitchell location.
Yep.
10,000 square foot lot, and now in contrast that with 1214 Great Plain, which is an in-town. This is an in-town Great Plain location. It's just up from the post office. The lot is 14,810 square feet.
Yep.
And they're selling for basically the same amount.
Right.
I'd say Great Plain is maybe a little bit more updated than Paul Revere.
Right.
And I think the curb appeal on Great Plain is slightly better. But which house would you prefer?
That's a good question, and I'm gonna answer it with a question for you. Is the most amount of money I have to spend $780,000? Because
that's a great follow up.
Because if I have $780,000 to spend, then I would spend it on Great Plain.
Yeah.
If I had another couple $100,000 in my pocket, I'd probably get Paul Revere because of what it could become.
Okay. Now Great Plain could use a little bit of.
Yeah, but it looked pretty.
It was doner than Paul Revere.
Yeah, it was definitely doner.
Okay.
But smaller and just 3 bids, 1.5 baths.
Yep.
15 Avery Street is our next listing, and this was a kind of a cool location because it abutted Cricket Field, and you had the gate there, so you had the access right from the backyard, and I thought it had a lot going for it.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a couple of these houses on Avery that abut Cricket Field that have that little gate so you can get right in there, and that's cool. It's like an extension of your backyard. And this is moving condition. I like this house.
I liked it. 66 Coolidge Street is next up, and this is Coolidge Avenue, excuse me. This is, I think this listing shows the desirability of Coolidge Ave.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, the location's obviously fantastic. This one came on kind of among a couple of others that it competed with, where it didn't necessarily. I don't think it quite measured up to the ones it was competing with in the immediate time it was on the market, which I think contributed to it lasting for 20 days. So, but it didn't quite sell at its asking price, but still a good buy and a great location.
68 Macintosh is the next listing, and when I look at a listing sheet and I see things kind of jumping off of me like engineering reports and French drain and sump pumps, it makes me a little nervous. This one's on the market for a little while, but eventually sells for $829,000. Next listing is a little bit of Red Riding coming our way. There it goes, 49 Cary Road, Ryan. Were you surprised?
The Red Riding bell.
Were you surprised that was my deal of the month for the seller?
Only because we've talked about it a number of times.
Oh, okay.
Not that in the context of it being your deal of the month, but I knew that you were fixated on it.
Well, it's I don't know, fixated is the right word, but
obsessed with it.
That's more appropriate because as we know, the developer bought this for $630,500, and so this was a flip. And I felt like what it sold for was a really healthy number based on the fact that, you're talking about 3 beds, 1.5 baths. You're talking about 2,200 square feet, but that was including basement space. I just thought they got a pretty good number for that, and I think they probably walked away pretty happy. I don't know, if they made a ton of money or a little bit of money or broke even or whatnot, but
no, that's fair.
But I thought 860 was a good number.
All right.
Over to 93 Mayflower Road, a listing that our office was involved with this transaction for the sake of disclosure.
It was
put on the market, obviously at a great time in terms of the spring market and
well-priced.
Well-priced, some good square footage, but just 3 beds.
Yes, and at the time this was competing with 68 Macintosh, where they were similarly priced, and I was worried that maybe there'd be some more attention paid to Macintosh, but I mean, you couldn't have kept them away from Mayflower.
Yeah, it ended up getting a pretty good number, and
well, it's in the heart of
Multiple
Bolinwood, so
right. I mean, it's right near the epicenter of Bolinwood.
Right.
56 Ridgeway Ave sells next up. Just gets it right there, right ahead of 93 Mayflower by $250. A versatile floor plan, Ryan. Did you get a chance to see this one?
I did. It's right at the top of Newbury Park, which is a really nice area of Needham.
All right, let's go back to the ladder streets. 134 Prince Street. You had alluded to Coolidge being against some homes that were when Coolidge was on the market, right?
This was same weekend, and this one got a lot of attention. It was moving conditions. It's a multi-level, but certainly had a nice floor plan, nice family room addition, and you can see it got a lot of attention. Went for $876, $27,000 over asking.
What about we've talked about the Colonial, but this is the multi-style Colonial.
The Melonial?
It's not bad. The Melonial.
All right, let's go with it.
We've seen more Colonials than Melonials.
True.
41 Colby Street is a home that we both had a chance to see. This has quite a storied history as far as it being on the market for quite a while. I thought the mid-9s was a little
aggressive.
That's a good way to put it. Sells for $889, which I still think is a great number for that house, to be honest with you.
I do too. I kind of agree.
Yeah, that's a location.
Even though it's a great location, yeah.
Right, it's a location play is what I was going to say. 55 Greenwood Avenue is next up. This one sells for $915,000. Small lot, Ryan.
Tiny. It's under 6,500, or it's right at 6,500 square feet. But this house was redone to the nines. It was beautiful. Very much turnkey. I think the only thing keeping under $1 million is its lot size.
I would definitely agree with that. 155 Oak Street is our next listing. We're starting to move it along here, Ryan.
Yeah,
you sensing this?
Yeah.
Okay. The original house was built in 1940, Ryan. But it was totally updated.
In a pretty good sized master suite addition over a 2-car garage on a corner of Oak and it's escaping me. On the corner of Oak and something.
Oh yeah, it's a great road. I love it. 256 Dedham Avenue. I think anybody who drives in and out of town by way of Dedham recognizes this house. Sells for $947,500, and we are inching our way towards the $1 million mark.
Yep, not quite there yet.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
309 Central Avenue. Speaking of the $1 million mark, I believe this house is
just under.
Just under. I was going to say it's the next one, but
there's
one more.
$975. So this one sold for $815 in 2011 when it was new.
Yeah.
So,
at the time, I thought that was a great deal.
I did too.
Yeah, I think I thought it was a better deal.
You thought it was a better deal. Yeah. But I mean, consider that just a couple years later, it's selling for almost $1 million. When the only thing that I noticed that was done to it was the fence was put up and they painted some rooms because the developer when they did the house went the one color route, which always kind of jumps out at me. But walking through this time, it's all freshly painted.
And this was on the market just about the same time a house across the street was on the market. It sold for a very similar number. So if those people are wondering what their house is worth, they should just take a look at this listing.
There you go.
58 Pond Street.
Or watch the show.
Well, I'm sure they do that.
Oh, right.
Come on. 58 Pond Street is our next listing. This one is a Newman location. And Ryan, how about that spread for list price and sale price? Do you think they were surprised by that?
I was a little bit. This was a candidate for me for the deal of the month for the seller, although I thought it was priced aggressively on the low end in order to get to something like this as far as a sale price.
Right, but that's still a big spread.
It is a big one. I mean, it's 2,600 square feet. There's a large master suite that overlooks Sportsman Pond. It's a nice house. It's been redone. It has finished space in the basement, although they have a perfect opportunity for the walkout, and they didn't use it. The workshop's on the walkout side as opposed to the finished space, but that can be corrected. So I like this for the seller, but it's a nice house.
Yeah, agreed. We are into the $1 million market. 369 Manning Street is next up, another listing that our office was involved in for the sake of disclosure. A rare find, good location, Ryan. Walk to town.
Yeah.
Call this walk to town?
I would, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and what's nice about this house, Rob, is while the frontage is on Manning, and you might say, oh, it's Manning, it's busy, a lot of the house is tucked onto Otis, especially the outdoor space. And Otis is one of those streets that you just aren't on unless you live on Otis.
Yeah, I don't know if I would consider Manning Street busy, but whatever. 30 Harvard Circle is our next listing, and this one sells for $125,000. That's a big deal. Again, I mean, is it me or do we always talk about this jump from like $1 million to like $1.3 million?
Nothing exists in $1 million. You cannot buy a house for 1.1.
I mean, if you want to move to Needham and your budget is 1.1,
you are out of luck.
Yeah, you better go to another town or change your budget.
Right.
So anyway, we are into new construction.
Yes.
With this one.
What I liked about this one, the new construction, is it's 4,000 square feet. Great. Right. You know, I like that. Like it's 4,000 square feet. It's not 5,700, and you're not always trying to capitalize. And this is a nice sized home, and I think it got a nice number. It might have started out a little high, but it got a nice number for its square footage, and great.
Yeah, good looking house too.
Yeah.
57 Birds Hill Avenue is next up, and this one sells for a total of $126,000.
Yep. And this one's a 3-car garage.
Love 3-car garages.
I know, but you just don't see them in this neighborhood.
You mean
need a special permit for a 3-car
this literal
garage.
neighborhood or this neighborhood of pricing?
Well, we're Birds Hill Ave is.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or in this price.
Okay.
41 Shirley Road. This is a street with a lot of newer construction on it, right off of Parrish, right?
Yeah.
Big lot.
Good job.
Thanks. Yeah, that wasn't even written down.
No.
Big lot.
Yes. Yeah, big lot. This was, I believe, 18,000 and change.
Yeah.
I mean, this one was built in 2010, sold for $115,000 in 2010, and they came out of the gates a little hot here at 1.499 and ended up selling for 1.288, which is a good number for the house. Don't get me wrong. I think it just came out a little strong with the pricing, and then that obviously can lead to your 283 days on market.
Right, but we talked about the big spread from the house on Pond. This is a bigger spread going the other way.
Yeah, and they also, this one was difficult because the seller had it under agreement for a good couple months, and then it went back on the market. So that hurts your days on market big time, and that's disappointing for the seller.
Well, you know, it's funny, when you go on the market and you get a lot of offers and then you get something under agreement, as the seller you feel like you have all the leverage.
Yeah.
But you really never have that much leverage because once it goes right back on the market, you've lost all of it anyway.
Yeah, like the shiny new car smell is tarnished.
Right. It's like, you know, dating somebody who just got dumped. You know, like why did that person just get dumped?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
That's a whole different show.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't think either of us are equipped to talk about it. 101 Valley is next up, as our producer has put the slide up for us, as if to tell us enough with that conversation.
Move on.
Sells for 129, and this one located, of course, in the Valley.
Yes, Rob. This one is a nicely done house. The only thing about this house, Rob, is there is a good-sized drain easement.
Yes.
And it affected the layout of the house. And it makes me wonder if the builder was aware of it before he bought the house.
Right. Well, he was clearly aware of it before he built the house.
But for sure, because it definitely is a factor, and that's. But I think he did a good job with the house with what he had. But he had to work around a drain easement, which was problematic for him.
Well, I could see a situation where a builder just sees it's 10,000 square feet. I'll just buy it and face the stuff later, and then all of a sudden, whoopsie.
Right, and yikes.
Okay.
But there you have it.
Yeah, 80 North Hill Avenue sells for 1.3.
Okay.
And I would say it's kind of equidistant in terms of Needham and Wellesley centers. I'm not sure about the walking distance part, but it's
that would be a hike.
Yeah.
To Wellesley Center from there.
Well, I mean,
it's the better part of your day.
Anything is walkable.
Okay.
Right. But,
exactly.
But the question is, how far do you want to walk?
Okay.
72 William Street was a unique house.
I wrote the same thing down.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Very unique. And you know what they did? Last month you talked about people planning ahead and taking pictures when they might sell their house in the summer.
Yeah.
The front picture is clearly from March when it was listed.
Okay.
But the pictures of the yard were all lush green yards.
Right.
Green grass is great. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for remembering that I gave that tip. I thought it was pretty good at the time. You never say anything.
I watched the show.
All right, not a cookie cutter house. I would say
No,
that is accurate.
definitely not.
A 29 Smith Street is the next one, and they, I would say they priced it pretty well. This was a newer home. It was built in 2008, and in a Newman location.
Interesting that there's a homeowners association in that.
Yeah, it is interesting.
I noticed that, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I know why you noticed it. You were doing your homework.
Right. Yeah. All right.
47 Hemlock Street sells for $1,455. That's our next listing. We're starting to climb the ladder a little bit
That's
here,
a
Ryan.
good resale number, Rob. That house was built in 2006. Getting 1,455 for it. I think that was a strong posting.
All right, 56 Country Way sells. Holy moly! Look at that.
Love this house.
All right, Ryan. In 20 seconds, tell us why this is your deal of the month. Go.
Great property. I mean, this house is huge. This is a 1.4 house that can do very little to it and be up into the 1.8 to 2 million. I mean, you could, in my opinion, if you reconfigure the kitchen, add a mudroom, and just change the look and feel of the first floor a little bit, this house is going to be awesome. I mean, the exterior is awesome. The basement's awesome. The master suite is really nice. This is a well-done house, and I thought that it would go for higher than 1,462.
Yeah, maybe it would have if the hippo statue was included. 57 Upland Road sells for $1,525, and this one was a new construction home, under 10,000 square feet, this lot.
Yes, yeah. Nicely done. And I mean, 9,000 square feet and change on the corner of Upland and Melrose. Yep.
46 Fairfield Street is our next listing. I like this house, right?
Active family lived in this house, Rob. You
Oh.
got exercise room, sport court, tennis court, swing set, gym, game room, you name it.
Yeah.
Nicely done home.
All on a 10,000 square foot lot,
Yep.
mind you. And what's an 8-zone entertainment system? What do you think about that?
That's too many zones.
Yeah, I agree. That's a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
Might as well have a concert.
I know.
1302 South Street is our next listing. This one sells for $2,180. This also was involved, or I should say, we were involved, our office, with this transaction.
Yeah, we this is the first one of its kind. This is the house that we were involved in the design build aspect of it, and then ultimately after the family had to move on, and we sold it for them. So this was, I could spend a whole show talking about this, but we don't have time. It's a beautiful home, and I'm very happy with how it turned out.
All right. 81 Country Way sells for $2.2 million. This is a big lot and a large house, Ryan. What do you say?
7,000 square feet. This is a beautiful piece of property, though. 1.29 acres in Country Way. It's a very nicely done project.
603 Charles River Street included the lot, a separate lot included with that one, Ryan.
Yeah, it's hard to really comment on this value because you don't know what that lot is going to be
how you break
used
it
for,
down.
right?
And lastly, Ryan, what is it?
20 Carlton Rob, built in 1994. This house is very, very cool. I mean, just really impressive. Nicely done. It held up very well over the test of time. Maybe updated a little bit along the way. What's more striking to me, Rob, is 4 sales over $2 million in July.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Year end, we'll
Could
have
be
to
a
show.
first time ever.
Yeah, we'll have to do a graph about that
Okay.
a little bit later in the year. Market snapshot, Ryan. Let's take a look at how things are laying out for us as of August 7th, 2015. Before we wrap things up, and Ryan, go.
I mean, I think real quickly we have 61 active single-family listings, so I'm sure we'll be talking about those to come. But then we also have 77 homes under agreement, so we will have a lot to talk about in the months ahead.
Right, down from 102, but still a healthy number for sure, especially as we talk about the later summer months. So I think we have a lot coming up. Ryan, if anybody wants to reach out to us, how would they go about doing that?
Rob, they can call us at 781-707-6564 or email rob.ryan@hawthornre.com.
Well done. Needham, thank you for joining us for this month's show. We will see you again very soon.
Can't wait.